Okay, hi, and welcome to another episode of my podcast. I've got a special guest with me today. We've got a fellow coach, Victoria Boast. You can find her on Instagram as Victoria Boast. And we're just going to talk about today things like getting back on track after we've had some time off. So this could be anything to do with like kids going back to school after the summer holidays. We might not have been on course through the holidays, and now we're just going to talk about everything about getting back onto track. So before we do anything else, I'm just going to let Vic talk about herself and how long she's been in the industry. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. So yeah, my name is Victoria and I've been in the industry, I think just over 4 years now, since I fully qualified. Previous to that, I worked in bars and restaurants for 18 years. People don't think I'm old enough, but I am. And bars and restaurants was something that I loved and I really enjoyed. And it got to the point where obviously lots of free food, lots of free drinks. I got overweight and got to probably about a size 18. I struggled going in different clothes shops, and the clothes shops that I wanted to shop in didn't quite go to my size or didn't look right and didn't fit. So obviously there are like plus size shops, and I kind of resented shopping in there and I didn't want to shop in there. So that was my trigger point and my low point. And I think everyone's got one of those low points where something kind of sparks their journey. And the more and more I had to shop in these shops, the more it kind of got to me. And then one day I just went, no, that is it. Had enough, want to change my life around. And that was September 2016, so 6 years ago. I luckily stumbled across calorie counting. Someone that also used to work in the bars industry promoting was also a personal trainer. And so I had him on my Facebook, seen his like information come up and just kind of listened to what he said. He always talked about sandwiches and having carbohydrates and eating the food you loved. And like I said, I just luckily stumbled across him and his content, which kind of helped me to diet, to incorporate the foods that I love and not actually tell anyone that I was dieting. So for the first 8 months, I kept it under my hat. And because obviously I had that approach of I could eat anything and everything, just had to be within my calorie allowance or obviously balanced out. That's how I managed to hide it, because no one really knew I was dieting. I was kind of dieting in secret, I guess. And then it's only when my mum went, oh, have you lost weight? And I'd lost about a stone at that point. And then I went, yeah. And the reason I didn't tell anyone is because of the fear of failure, because I didn't think I was going to do it. I'd tried a few attempts in the past. Just crazy little things, like my friend did paleo, so I did that for a week, didn't like it. Did the special K diet a couple of times, if people remember that. 2 bowls of cereal and a normal meal. Again, it gave me a few quick wins, but nothing specific. So I'd never really done anything like Slimming World or Weight Watchers. So this was like my first proper attempt, and I was a bit dubious of whether it would work or not. So like I said, that's why I kept it to myself. Through the process of losing weight, I was very intrigued of how it worked, what the method was, and training in the gym. I'd always kind of gone to the gym and I'd always done weight training. I was never a cardio person. I always wanted to go on the weight machines, but it's very intermittent, and I was just doing a bit here, and then a few years had passed and I've not gone, and then I'd go, all right, okay, get back into the gym again. I'd do a few months and then that was it. But through going through the weight loss journey, I kind of found the gym again, got myself a personal trainer because I couldn't lift heavy enough in the classes that I was going to at the gym. I was like, and I want to be shown properly. Within a month, I decided that was it. I was changing my whole career around. That was January. And then by the September, I was a fully qualified PT. Literally just flipped my career around in like 8 months. And yeah, the rest is history.
I like it. Your story is so relatable to so many thousands, millions of people across the country, across the world, where you're not feeling confident about how you look, and you've let your diet run away with you a little bit. And it's about just keeping things simple, I think. Whereas we can pick to follow a diet, but a lot of the time they tend to overcomplicate these things. Whereas if you're going into like a simple calorie counting situation, you have a lot more control, I believe. Like you have a lot more gains. Cool, excellent. Well, thank you for that. So we're talking about getting back onto track, and you know, like I'm sure we've usually the times of the year now. I believe that the year very much goes in waves. So come January is when we're probably at our most motivated, and we're probably going to stay on track for the longest part. Then we might kind of dip down a little bit, and then we realize that actually summer's just around the corner, so our motivation's coming back up again. Then summer hits us. I believe that again we're at a bit of a low point, so to speak, and then we kind of have that run into Christmas, where again we're motivated, we want to look good in time for Christmas, and then obviously Christmas comes and we totally overindulge. So for me it's a full cycle. So how do you keep your clients kind of focused, or do you actually kind of give them a little bit of slack in terms of dealing with these peaks and troughs throughout the year?
I mean, it's very client dependent. Obviously, most of my clients have probably got families and kids. And like you say, over the summer period, things get a little bit relaxed. The same with like the Christmas period, you know, they're not wanting to calorie count. So I just kind of follow what they want to do, and then just advise them the best that I can do. With my clients, we do 3-month goal setting. So we've just done, so September is 3 months goal setting all the way down to Christmas. And then they can achieve what they want to achieve by the time probably like the 18th of December. And then they can take the foot off the gas for a couple of weeks, knowing that they've achieved something, you know, in the 3 months. And then when we get to January again, it's goal setting again. And it's just keeping refocused of what your goal is and where you want to get to. So as an example, I unfortunately became allergic to dairy last year, unexpectedly, May last year. So through changing my diet, I put weight on and I put over a stone on. And obviously I've just told you, I've only recently kind of gone through my journey. Well, I started 6 years ago. But I found myself in a place where I was like, I'm unhappy again, I'm overweight. As soon as it got to January, I'm like, right, okay, that is it. I had a holiday in August. So from January to August, that was my focus of losing the weight. And I managed to lose 18 pounds in that time. And I feel the only way that I kept motivated was going, that holiday. So it was constant focus, and also having a note on my kitchen cupboard massively helped as well of where my weight loss journey was up to. I gave myself little milestones. So I gave myself 3 pounds each month. And every week I was writing on my cupboard where I was up to, because I think if it's not in your face and you've not set them goals and you've not got a reason why, it can very easily slip away. You know, in the past, I've tried to lose weight in the last like 6 years, and I've not really had a purpose or reason for kind of losing weight. So I've just kind of hovered where I was. But I think having a goal and having a why, just saying I want to lose weight is no good. Like, it's got to be a deep rooted reason why. I don't feel good in my clothes, I'm going on holiday, or whatever that might be. And I think that is a good way of kind of keeping yourself on track when things fall apart.
Yeah, agreed. It's putting a weight objective to it, especially with the inaccuracies or the smaller scale that Scales tells us. It doesn't actually go into much detail. Is very much the way forwards. And taking photos, like you said earlier about your mum mentioning, have you lost weight or whatever, it's when other people start to notice is when it really kind of hits home. What I do tend to tell my clients is I try and get them to look at the bigger picture at times when they probably need to see it.
Yeah.
So, you know, when we come
like as much as weight is a metric, you need to say, how are you feeling, how are you moving, how are you sleeping, how's your nutrition, you know, are your clothes fitting better, are your measurements going down? Because if you just relied on solely scale weight, you know, you could be very disheartened, especially as a female as well.
Yeah, we're quite we're quite focused when it comes to measurements. So with my lot, we actually take measurements every 4 Sundays, and I get everyone to do it on the same day. So kind of just makes my life a little bit easier more than anything else.
Yeah.
Obviously thinking of like a woman's monthly cycle as well, we do kind of work around that. So if it's just approaching their time of the month, I'll tell them to kind of have that and then measure afterwards. So we've got like a good system. But when we come into these periods when we're going to be a bit lack on our diet, say, for example, the summer holidays, when kids are off, and we probably eat more convenience food than anything else.
Yeah.
I tend to get them to look at the bigger scale. So I look at like their starting point and where they are now. Now, what's going to happen is they're probably going to take a bit of a backward step through the summer holidays, but they're not going to be anywhere near that starting point. It's just important just to make sure that that trend line is going down.
Yeah,
So,
and I guess it's up to them. And like I always say to people, especially with holidays and definitely at Christmas, I say, what is your outcome? Is it weight maintenance? Is it weight loss? Or are you going to accept a gain? So if you're going to go all in at Christmas and you want to go to all the Christmas markets, enjoy everything that's put in front of your face, then you've got to accept that there's going to be, say, 2 to 3 pound weight gain over December. But if you kind of set that as a target, as a 2 pound weight gain, then when you get to January and you put 2 pounds on, it's not a shock, it's not awful, because you've kind of forecast for that. The same with the summer holidays or just going on a holiday in general. So like I said, I went away in August and I was totally happy with coming back with 4 or 5 pounds on, because I was like, well, I'm going to be eating, I'm going to be drinking, I'm going to enjoy myself. I've been dieting since January. So, I wanted kind of a reward and just to not worry. So I came back going, right, okay, well, if I put 4 or 5 pounds on, I am 100% okay with that. And I think it's sometimes being okay with a weight gain or a weight maintenance and just knowing what that goal is for that period of time where you're not tracking or you're going to go off track for whatever reason.
Yeah, when it comes to Christmas, I kind of give them the time off. So we'll do our last number. So that's kind of, for me, is the end point of their year. Then we don't do another measurements until the end of January. So they're going to get like 6 or 7 weeks. And all I say to them is like, you're going to come back in January, you're going to be at your most motivated. So that's when you're going to be at your most conforming. So all I'm looking for is that point in December to that point at the end of January. If they're the same, I'm taking that as a win, because everything that we put on over Christmas has come back off again.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I just do it with my clients each year, and it works, which is obviously great. And then you just, you've got the next sort of 8, 9, 10 months to focus.
Yeah.
With somebody, so let's say that one of your clients has had summer holidays off, they've had a couple of kids at home, they've not eaten very well, they might have consumed a bit more alcohol, and they're struggling now to even get back into it. Now the kids are back at school, they still haven't got their mojo back. What piece of advice would you give that client?
It's funny because I literally had an email from one of my clients yesterday saying, oh, I'm so sorry, I've been avoiding your messages, your emails, a Facebook group and everything, because she'd kind of fallen off track and she kind of wasn't really sure kind of what to do and stuff. And I just said to her, start small. I said, start tying it even. And I've shared my goals for the next 3 months. Like I said, beginning of September, that's what I did with all my clients. I shared what mine were. And mine now, after my holiday, is weight maintenance. And people might be like, oh, well, I thought you said you wanted to lose another 6 pounds. And I said, yeah, but I've got so much going on that weight maintenance is actually a goal for me all the way to December. And managing that, if I lose a couple of pounds, great. If I don't, obviously I'm not going to cry about it. So what I said to her was, rather than trying to track for 7 days of the week, just track for 2. I said, oh, just track your breakfast, start really small. I think people see the weight loss journey and what they want to accomplish and as a massive thing. And the reason they don't approach it or don't start it is because it kind of overfaces them. And they feel like it's too big of a challenge to kind of do, oh, I've got to get my steps in, I've got to track all my food, I've got to hit my protein target, I've got to get my sleep in, I've got to do X, Y, Z, I've got to then like manage the kids and I've got to try and get a workout in. And it's like, no, stop. Pick one thing, just pick one thing, whatever it is. What's the most off track? What's the worst? What needs improvement the most? And that could be as simple as sleep. Especially with summer holidays, you might not have been in a regular routine. You might still be going to bed at like 11:30 and having to get up at 6:30 and, you're super tired. Getting on track with a bedtime routine is going to be way more beneficial than anything else. Getting your sleep in so you're refreshed the next day. You're going to make good food choices. You're going to have the energy to get your steps in. And I always say to clients, it's like a pyramid, like what is at the top of your pyramid or what needs to be at the top? And for me personally, it is sleep for all those reasons I've just said. I know I'm going to be more active. I know I'm going to want to meal prep. I'm going to eat good food because I'm well slept. Whereas when I'm poorly slept, I want to go for bad choices, just like everyone else does. So just start small, start really tiny, just really pick one thing that is going to move that needle forward, that 1% that's going to make a bit of a change just in the first week. And then, right, okay, what can I do now? What's the next thing? Rather than trying to hit all those 10 different things all in 1 week. And that's why people generally fail, because they try and get back on track with absolutely everything. Unless they're like me and you that are conditioned to do this stuff, that after my holiday, I literally got my Asda delivered a couple of days after I got back, got straight back onto meal prepping. Like I said, my goal's weight maintenance, so not tracking, but just in those habits and routines, because it's easy for us, because we've done it for a long time.
Yeah, I really like that part about trying to do it or not do it all in one go, because you're just inviting so much overwhelm, aren't you? And
oh, definitely. And that's it. People are just overfaced by it all. So rather than going, oh, I'll start, they're like, oh, it's too much to do, so I'm just not going to do anything. And I think that's a lot of people's problems with a fitness journey. The same with going to the gym. They feel it's too big of a challenge, so they just don't start or don't do anything. They think that going in and doing one exercise is not worth doing, so they just don't bother.
yeah, it's it's very common to see people go hit. So you kind of got two ends of the spectrum. You're doing nothing, or you're going all
absolutely
in.
Everything.
Yeah, you just
and
need
then burning out
and taking it like one habit at a time, one routine change at a time. You know, just setting yourself little targets in the gym, even if it's on the treadmill, you know, like 10 minutes into 15 minutes into 20 minutes, and it just becomes a bit more of the norm, so to speak. Have you ever come across that analogy about the frog in the boiling water?
Yeah.
I think it's Atomic Habits, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
So basically, it's if you put a frog into a saucepan of boiling water, the frog will jump back out again. But if you were to put a frog into lukewarm water and then just turn the temperature up by 1 degree at a time, the frog will get used to doing used to the new change until it actually boils to death. I've done a post on that before, but I had to put a disclaimer to say that no frogs were harmed in the making of this video.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like that answer a lot, and I think that's going to resonate with a lot of people. So is there anything else that you would tell some, like maybe a new client coming in, you know, they're all in, they're really over enthusiastic? Where's your starting point with a new client?
So again, it is just starting small, and it's just for them recognizing, I don't want to say what's going wrong with their life, but like what they want to improve, because some people might just naturally be smashing 15,000 steps a day. You know, some people might love sleeping, so the sleep's on track. You know, they might just naturally like drinking loads of water, or, you know, in like the opposite, they might not like doing any of those things. And it's just highlighting what's going right, what's going wrong, where they need to improve. So I say to clients, 2 liters of water a day, protein at 2 meals, 7 to 9 hours worth of sleep a day, 10 minutes of self-care, and like 7,000 steps. Like, they're the 5 things that I say, do those without even changing your food. I mean, I know obviously I put protein in at each meal, but without counting calories, without changing your food, those 5 things are just going to help you feel better, move better, have more mental clarity. So then you can then make better changes and choices after that. You know, that's kind of like the starting point. Let's just get these boxes ticked. Where's your steps at? Where's your water drinking? How's your sleep? You know, do you do 10 minutes of self-care? And like, that could be literally anything. It could be taking 10 minutes in a room on your own, going for a walk, reading a book, having a bath, painting your nails, getting someone else to cook for you. Like, I think people take self-care as like this big thing, and it's like, no, sometimes just sitting on the sofa for 10 minutes with a brew and a biscuit, like that could be it, you know. And I take that sometimes in the afternoon. Obviously, being a coach, we can kind of change our routine around a little bit. So I like to get up in the morning, do some client work, take the dog out, have some food, do a bit more client work. Then about 3 o'clock, I'm kind of like slumping a little bit. So I take myself on the sofa, get a drink, put a bit of Netflix or YouTube on for like an hour, just relax and chill, and then go do a bit more work. And then it's evening meal time, you know, and that's kind of how my day runs. So for me, that hour in the middle of the day, I might be watching something educational on YouTube, you know, but that is my form of self-care, of just refreshing myself a little bit through the day. And a lot of people, especially clients that are parents, do not take any time for themselves. Like, I think women especially like are so selfish, selfless, that they just like give. But what I say to clients, if you're constantly giving, if you're not looking after yourself, if you're not taking even 10 minutes a day, or even if you want to compound it together and take an hour on a Saturday or something, you know, if you're not taking that time to just look after yourself, you're not going to be your best self for everyone around you. Do your kids want you at 70%, or do they want you at 100%? You know, they'd rather you at 100%, like all go running around the park with them, enjoying them, going to the cinema, loving life. Whereas if you're only operating at 70%, where you just can't be bothered, you don't want to run around after them, you know, I mean, they're potentially not going to remember that, but you'll remember that, and you're not operating at 100%. So just by getting those 5 things in place as a starting point, you know, you're then going to just feel better, move better, like I said, think better. So that's always a good start, really, for clients when they come on board, whether they've been training before or not.
It's, you know what, that is just not a constant battle, but I find myself repeating that same thing that you just covered almost every single session I do, the importance of self-care. And I'm like you, so it's one of my non-negotiables. I'll have a nap every day. And I'm a little bit,
I used to love it now.
I'm about 11:30, 12 o'clock-ish. But what I also do is I make sure that nap is no more than about 30 minutes.
Well, I guess you've been up way earlier than I have. I'm no longer PTing in the gym, so it makes it easy.
Yeah, no, it's a 6 o'clock start this morning. So,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I try not to make it any more than 25 to 30 minutes. I don't want to go into like a deep sleep. But there's going to be times where I do sleep for longer and I'll hit the snooze button a few times, but it's definitely like important, like you say, to keep yourself fresh. But one of the pushbacks that I get off of that from the clients is, well, I haven't got time. And my argument to that is, well, you've got time to scroll through Facebook, through TikTok for an hour, 2 hours at a time.
Yeah. And I think it's about, you make time for what's important for you. Like,
exactly.
if a family member said they're coming round to the house in half an hour, I bet you're going to get up and run round and tidy and clean to make sure it's done. So you've just found that time to clean your house where you wasn't expecting to do it. And I'm not saying it's easy for everyone, but it's about writing your schedule down on a bit of paper, on a Google Calendar, like however you want to do it, and just going, where are the gaps? Where do I have time? Is it about getting up 10 minutes earlier, staying up 10 minutes later, finding 10 minutes in the middle of the day somewhere, you know, locking yourself in the bathroom for 10 minutes? Like, it doesn't really matter. It's about finding that time somewhere. And only when you put your schedule down on paper is actually you realize you've got loads of time and you've just been wasting it all.
100%. It's yeah, it's like you say, it's finding those gaps, and it's not going to be easy. You know, the gaps aren't going to present themselves to you all the time, but sometimes a little bit of planning, maybe like you've got Wednesday as a bit of a quieter day, there's no after school clubs or something to go for, so that, you know, it's just about a little bit of planning ahead. And I feel the same with like meal prepping and stuff. It's finding those gaps in the week to then say, right, I'm going to prep the next 2 or 3 days worth of lunches. That's that done. I don't have to think about it anymore. It's in the fridge, grab and go, simple.
Yeah, and I think using that like Google Calendar or whatever calendar you want to use, and scheduling that time in there. So because obviously I knew I didn't have time today to go shopping. Yesterday I was like, right, I need to go get some veg, I need to get some yogurt. So then this morning, first thing I did when I got up was do like an hour's worth of meal prepping, because everything was there in the fridge, and I knew like I had to do it today because I need the next few days worth of food, because I've got quite a busy few days. And it's just putting that time in the calendar, because make an appointment with yourself. You know, I've got, like, if you've got the dentist, if you've got your hairdressers, whatever it is, you go, because you put it in your calendar and you do it. Same with gym sessions, you know, schedule it into your calendar, schedule meal prepping, schedule that self-care time in, because then it's more likely to be done. And I remember one day I was working away on my laptop and I was like, all right, okay, I've done all this work that I've scheduled. What's next? And it was the gym. And I was like, oh, but I don't want to go to the gym. I can't be bothered today. And then I looked, I was like, I've actually got no other work to do, because I've scheduled it in that way that I had the time to go to the gym. So I was like, well, I'm just going to have to get ready and go to the gym. Because even us sometimes are not always motivated. But by putting it in your calendar, by making it an event or an appointment, you're more likely to get it done.
Do you ever have to give yourself a little pep talk?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to talk myself into it. Just like, right, just let's go get it done.
Yeah.
You feel better afterwards.
Yeah, 100%.
So is there something that you have noticed which seems to be the biggest obstacle when it comes to your clients' journeys or even your own journey, like either mentally or physically? What would you say is like maybe the biggest obstacle, and then how did you kind of get yourself around it?
I'm gonna say weekends. Not for me personally, because working in bars and restaurants, I have never ever done a 9 to 5. I do not understand that Friday mentality of I've finished, let's have a drink, let's get a takeaway, let's eat what I want on the weekend. Because my weekend was a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Now, don't get me wrong, I went out drinking on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, like I found all the student nights, but I've never had that weekend mentality. And obviously, because I promote balance to clients, you know, you can have a chocolate cake on a Tuesday, you can have a pizza on a Thursday, like, you know, there's no kind of restriction. But I think a lot of people do restrict during the week, or they find it easier to restrict because when you work and when the kids are at school, you're in that routine and you're in those habits of this is what I do, I eat this breakfast, I do that. Then you've got no routine whatsoever on the weekend. And that's where you're like, oh, what do I have for breakfast? Like, what do I do? Like, what do we have for tea? Like, where are we going to go? And as much as I don't want to sound boring, you need to create that Monday to Friday routine on the weekend. So I have exactly the same breakfast all the time because I like it, because I enjoy it. It is chicken sausages, baked beans, scrambled egg, and 1 slice of toast. You know, I might put more in there. I might have 2 slices of toast or whatever. I might have different types of eggs. I might change it around a little bit. Typically, that is what I have for my breakfast. So when I wake up on a Saturday or a Sunday, I don't go, what am I having for breakfast? Because that is habitually what I have for breakfast. And I think by having that kind of habit and routine, I mean, you can change your breakfast and go, oh, Saturday, Sunday, we have pancakes. Fine, that's great. But just by starting the day and having that routine, you're just setting yourself up for success. Whereas if you go, oh, I'm going to eat donuts for breakfast on Saturday morning, you're in that mentality of, oh, well, I've already ruined it, so I might as well carry on. And obviously you can have donuts for breakfast and still stay on track. But I think it's that mentality of, oh, it's freedom. And it's like, no, you need more scheduling, more rigidity on the weekend than you do during the week. Because work, school life, everything else, parents, whatever you're doing, it's already got that routine. So you don't kind of stray from it. Whereas at the weekend, because it's so open, you then need to bring it back in line and put some structure into that weekend because you can just go all out. And I'm not saying don't have fun. I'm not saying don't eat delicious foods. I'm just saying make sure there's some kind of structure there of either you have the same breakfast both days or you keep your bedtime routine or whatever it is. Because if you then just go, oh, well, from 6 p.m. on a Friday all the way till Monday morning, I can do what I want, you are never, ever going to get anywhere on your diet, health, or fitness goals. And yes, that might feel awful to begin with, but you've got to do it if you want to get to where you want to get to.
Yeah, and I like the idea of, say, your breakfast, if we take that, that's almost a fire.
Yeah. But it's low calorie and high protein.
It's, you know, like I think when you say the term fry up in your mind, it instantly triggers naughty, full of calories, full of fat. And
I have chicken sausages, so it makes it healthier. So I have the Heck chicken sausages. So low calorie and high protein.
I've tried to like them. I prefer the Richmond ones.
Yeah.
Because they've got that Richmond flavor, but the chicken, the amount of chicken that's in a Richmond to the amount that's in a Heck is a lot better.
Yeah.
It's obviously high 80s, early 90% on the chicken content, whereas the Richmonds are about high 50s. But
yeah, they're not great macros. But Aldi and Lidl do some. Lidl do some salt and pepper ones, which are a bit more like pork sausages. So if you get yourself to Lidl,
okay, right.
Yeah, so they do salt and pepper ones. So they're quite nice. Like they're a bit spicy as well. So again, you know, they're not the same macros as Heck. Like I think if you were just going on low calorie and high protein, Heck are at the top for sure, but obviously they're a bit more expensive. Whereas the little ones are only £2 or $1.99. And they're a little bit different. Same with the Aldi ones. So yeah, definitely shop around and try a few. But again, you know, like you say, you would feel that it was like a naughty breakfast, but it's not. It's like 300 calories. You know, I enjoy it. It's not that I don't have it because I think, oh, it's not great. You know, I want it. I enjoy it. So it's about finding what you like. You know, if you like porridge for breakfast, have that. You know, whack some protein powder in there. If you like pancakes, again, you know, you put some protein powder in it. It's not about just having one breakfast. You could have like 4 different things and then just rotate round and go, right, today I'm feeling pancakes, today I'm feeling a fry up, you know, and just have those options as well.
Definitely. Going back to the weekend being quite a big obstacle for a lot of people, depending on, even doesn't matter when your weekend starts. Top tip to getting back on track after a heavy weekend.
So I always say meal prep. So if you know you're going out on a Saturday night, on a Friday, plan your food for Sunday, because we know we're hungover. We know we're tired. We know we're not going to stay up, like want to move off the sofa. We're not going to want to go shopping or start cooking. Ready meals are perfectly fine to have. Frozen pizzas are perfectly fine to have, but always there is a better option. So you've got like your Domino's at like 1,000 calories or whatever plus, but then you can go get a shop bought pizza at like 500-600 calories. You know, make sure it's got a decent amount of protein on. If it's not, you could add your own protein to it or have something on the side like a protein yogurt. You know, just plan your Sunday, because I think the Sunday is where most damage is done, not the Saturday night. Yeah, on a Saturday night, you might have a few drinks and have a takeaway or whatever on the way home. But you're probably going to do more damage on the Sunday than you are on the Saturday, because you probably had a good breakfast and a good lunch on the Saturday. Whereas on Sunday, you've got 3 meals where you're going to have a fry up, worse than obviously what I have, you know, and then you're probably going to have a pizza, which is over 1,000 calories. You might then throw in a tub of Ben and Jerry's, another 1,000 calories, you know, so it's very easy for that Sunday to be off track. So for my clients, I say prep your food for Sunday. So like I said, I have the same breakfast. It's great. So I might just have an extra piece of toast or an extra egg or, you know, more sausages, or I might have it as like a sausage butty or something, but it's there ready and prepped. Have a ready meal or have, you know, some prep food in the fridge that you can just throw in the microwave. Again, putting something in the microwave for 4 or 5 minutes is going to be way quicker than that takeaway. You know, even if it's like a sweet and sour chicken and you've got some prawn crackers in the cupboard, you know, it's still going to be less than the actual Chinese. So it's just about thinking a little bit ahead, and then also making sure that Monday morning your food is also ready to go. So if it is just a Saturday night you're going out, maybe spend Friday evening or Saturday morning just cooking food, getting something in that's delicious that you are going to want to eat on the Sunday, and then making sure your food's ready for Monday. Because then come Monday evening, you're probably back on track, you're feeling better because you've eaten well. So then you can then go, right, okay, I need to sort my food out for the rest of the week, rather than eating everything in sight on Sunday and then Monday having to get a takeaway as well because you've not kind of got on track and you were tired Sunday and didn't want to do anything. Just that forward thinking of putting things in place to kind of not stay on track and lose weight on the Sunday, but just to not undo too much and cause too much damage.
Avoiding the double whammy, so to speak, like what I like to call it. You blow your budget Saturday night, no doubt, and then don't go and blow it again Sunday. Just a little bit of planning in advance, and that can work wonders. Cool, excellent. Is there anything that you wanted to add at this point? Is there anything that you wanted to ask me at all?
I think we've covered quite a lot of it, to be honest. I think it is a lot about planning and forward thinking, and people don't like that, and it's a bit boring. In my client check-ins, I always say, you know, what events have you got coming up in the next 4 weeks? Because I think sometimes people don't plan for things. So I've had a client where she's not had a kitchen for 8 weeks, but she didn't plan before it. She wasn't a client then. She's kind of come to me now. She's like, oh, I've not had a kitchen for 8 weeks. It's not been great. Whereas if she was a client and she'd come to me and said, oh, I'm not going to have a kitchen for 8 weeks, what can I do? I don't expect clients to be forward thinking. I don't expect them to have all the answers. That's obviously what our job is. So if someone says, oh, I've got a meal out at this restaurant, I'll go, all right, okay, I'll send you the information of the calories, because obviously they're more widely available now. make a good choice. Always make 2 choices. So when you go to a restaurant, don't just go, oh, I'm going to have the chicken with mash or whatever. Go, right, well, that's my first choice. That's my second choice. Because when you sit down, they're going to tell you that that's what they're out of stock of. And then you're just going to default to whatever it is you default to. Plus, looking at calories, a burger and chips is probably going to be less calories than a chicken Caesar salad, which surprises a lot of people. So yeah, just look in advance in your calendar and going, right, what's going on? What can I do? What can I put in place? And again, I don't expect clients to do that off their own back, which is why I asked that question. So then I can do that thinking for them and go, right, okay, well, if you're not going to have a kitchen for 8 weeks, what are you going to have? What foods can you buy? Have you still got access to a freezer? Have you got a kettle? Have you got a microwave? What meals can we put together? What's the family going to enjoy? So she could have spent a good 2 weeks beforehand putting menus together and shopping lists and then just rinse and repeat. Whereas she didn't, and they've just kind of, I'm not really sure what they've been eating for 8 weeks, but I'm guessing it's a lot of takeaways and convenience foods. So then that's put her even further away from where she wants to be now, because there wasn't any forward planning or, thought process behind events and things going on.
It's cool. So I'm thinking, if we're going to just summarize the whole thing in terms of, getting back onto track after a break, whatever that break that is, I think there's just a few points that we need to just remember. And I think it starts off with draw a line in the sand.
Yeah.
We can't do anything to change what's happened, but we can change them now. We can change the future. So draw a line in the sand. Like we've covered quite a lot today, a lot of it comes down to planning. So have a plan in place. And I tell my lot, it takes 20 minutes to 30 minutes on a Saturday morning. Start thinking about the week, the following week. What meals are you going to have? Where's your spare time for you time? So draw the line in the sand, plan, and then execute as closely as you can to that plan. There's things change obviously in the week, things crop up, but be adaptable. And then just take it one step at a time, one very small step at a time. Is there anything
just know that if things do kind of crop up last minute, it's not the end of the world. And like I said, I always say to clients, there's going to be that choice that you make, there's going to be a better choice, and then there's going to be an even better choice, so think about all those little things. Like, so if you were going to go for a Domino's pizza, a large Domino's pizza with all the toppings would be the choice, and then the next best choice would be maybe a medium pizza with all the toppings. And then the next best choice might be, oh, well, I'm going to get a medium pizza, but I'm going to have minimum toppings, or I'm going to have a medium pizza, but I'm going to share it with someone, or a large pizza and share it with someone. There's always a few steps between like what the choice is and then making a bit of a better choice. And I say to clients, it's not about making the best choice all the time. It's just about making a little bit of a better choice, that 1%. So having a different size pizza could save you 400 or 500 calories. We've not said don't eat a pizza. We've just said make a different choice and slightly kind of change it. So I think it's just about people being aware that there is more than one option when they get to a hurdle or something.
Yeah, that last bit there, that was just a little piece of gold. That was just, we don't think about it often enough. We try and change from what we fancy to what we don't really fancy, but it's less calories, whereas actually have what you fancy, just have less.
Just modify it, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, most people would go for a chicken salad, and it's like, say, now the calories are out there, you're probably going to find that chicken salad is the same as a burger and chips. Which are you going to feel more satiated? Which are you going to enjoy more? Well, personally, the burger and chips. So it's just about being aware, and obviously calorie counting gives you that freedom to go, actually, that's the same calories as that, or it's 100 more or 100 less. Which would I prefer? And I always say that to clients, when you're choosing from a menu, don't go, oh, that's the lowest calories, because if you're not going to enjoy it, you might as well use the extra 200 calories and get the meal that you enjoy.
I'm a big fan of the calories on the menus these days.
Yeah, 100% as well.
I just find you make a much more informed choice as well. But I'm still going to pick the burger and chips.
Yeah. No, but it's just eye-opening to kind of see, like, the difference between things. And I call it like calorie conscious. So I can look at most meals and say, oh, well, it's probably, that's going to be that calories. Obviously, I don't know the calories, absolutely everything, because I've not eaten everything and I've not tracked everything. But, you can kind of go through life and be a bit of awareness. So like I said, I'm just doing maintenance calories at the minute. And over the last week or so, I've gone, oh, I've had a few too many biscuits. I've had an extra piece of cake here. Like my mum made me some cheesecake for my birthday, and like I had 3 slices over like 2 days, and it's like, that's probably a bit too much. That's not maintenance, you know. So this week I'm like, right, okay, I'm going to be super conscious of what I'm having, and I'm just going to rein it back in a little bit. I'm not going to calorie count, still not calorie counting, but it's just that awareness because I have that knowledge already. And that's all you need to do. You know, you just need to be aware of what you're eating. And I think so many people just close their eyes on the weekend and hope for the best. And it's like, just because you don't count it doesn't mean it doesn't count.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I think that just about wraps everything up. So thanks for coming on. If you
no
want
problem.
to give Vicky a follow, she's Victoria Boast on Instagram. What's your Facebook handle?
I think it's Victoria Boast Personal Trainer, which is my page. But my website is just victoriaboast.co.uk, and everything is all links on there.
Excellent. And of course, if you're not already, you can follow me at Jamie Knight _PT on Instagram, or go over to Facebook and I am JLK Fitness. Okay, I think that just about wraps it up.
Yeah, great.
Well, thank you ever so much.